Lithuania, a country nestled on the southeastern coast of the Baltic Sea, is a land shaped by the slow, persistent hand of nature, a place where geography weaves the story of people and history through forests, rivers, lakes, and plains. To understand Lithuania is to first understand its physical setting, the land that has nurtured its culture and shaped its destiny. Stretching across approximately 65,300 square kilometers, Lithuania is one of the Baltic states, bordered by Latvia to the north, Belarus to the east and south, Poland to the south, and Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast to the southwest. This positioning places Lithuania at the crossroads of northern and eastern Europe, making its geography a bridge between diverse landscapes, climates, and peoples. The country's terrain is largely flat to gently rolling, the product of ancient glacial activity from the last ice age that sculpted its surface with a characteristic softness. The landscape is punctuated by a mosaic of features: broad plains, low hills, dense forests, and thousands of lakes and rivers that shimmer like scattered jewels across the land. Forests cover nearly one-third of Lithuania's territory, making them a defining feature of the country's natural environment. These forests are dominated by pine, spruce, birch, and oak trees, creating vast woodlands that provide habitats for a diverse array of wildlife, from elk and wild boar to lynx and rare bird species. The forested areas also have deep cultural significance, often linked to ancient pagan traditions and folklore that celebrate nature's power and mystery. One of the most distinctive geographical features of Lithuania is its abundance of water bodies. The country is home to over 3,000 lakes, many of which are glacially formed. These lakes vary in size from small ponds to the expansive Lake Druxii in the northeast, which stretches over 44 square kilometers. Interwoven with these lakes is a dense network of rivers, including the Nemunas, which is the largest river in Lithuania and a crucial artery for transportation, trade, and historical development. The Nemun River meanders some 937 kilometers, originating in Belarus before flowing through Lithuania and finally reaching the Baltic Sea. Its broad, slow-moving waters have shaped fertile floodplains along its course, making these areas rich for agriculture and settlement since ancient times. Other significant rivers include the Sventoji, Venta, and Merkis, each carving their own valleys and supporting diverse ecosystems. Lithuania's coastline, although modest at about 90 kilometers in length, is an important geographical and cultural zone. It stretches along the southeastern shore of the Baltic Sea and includes the unique Curonian Spit, a narrow sand dune peninsula that separates the Curonian Lagoon from the open sea. This dynamic landform is famous for its shifting sands and dense pine forests, as well as being recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The coastal zone is vital for fisheries, tourism, and maritime activities, connecting Lithuania to broader Baltic maritime networks. The country's climate is classified as humid continental, influenced both by the Baltic Sea and the vast Eurasian landmass to the east. Winters are cold and snowy, while summers are mild and relatively short. This climate supports the diverse ecosystems found in Lithuania's forests, wetlands, and grasslands, and also shapes the rhythms of agricultural life. Lithuania's natural geography has also influenced its human geography. The fertile plains and river valleys have attracted settlers since prehistoric times, fostering the development of agriculture and later urban centers. The capital city, Vilnius, sits on the banks of the nearest river and is surrounded by hills and forests, symbolizing the country's close relationship with its land. In addition to natural features, Lithuania's geography is marked by numerous protected areas and national parks, established to conserve its unique landscapes and biodiversity. These parks include Aukštatijan National Park, famous for its rolling hills and lakes, Žemaitijan National Park, rich in cultural heritage, and Curonian Spit National Park, safeguarding the fragile coastal dunes and forests. The geological composition of Lithuania reveals layers of sedimentary rock, sand, and clay, reflecting its glacial past and the gradual processes of erosion and deposition. Beneath the surface, the Baltic Basin contains valuable mineral resources such as peat and amber, the latter of which has been prized for thousands of years as the Baltic gold, cherished in jewelry and trade. Lithuania's geographic location has historically made it a corridor for migration, trade, and cultural exchange. Its plains and forests offered both passage and refuge, its rivers acted as natural highways, and its coastline opened to the Baltic Sea and beyond. From the earliest times, these features have helped shape the identity of Lithuania, a land defined by the interplay of earth, water, and sky. Thus, the geography of Lithuania is not merely a backdrop but a living, breathing foundation upon which the country's history, culture, and people have flourished. It is a land where every lake reflects the sky, every forest whispers ancient secrets, and every river carries the echoes of the past toward the endless horizon. The story of Lithuania's people begins long before the first written records, deep within the mists of prehistoric times. To understand the ancient roots of Lithuania is to journey back thousands of years, to an era when hunter-gatherers roamed dense forests, rivers teemed with life, and the rhythms of nature dictated the lives of small, scattered communities. Following the retreat of the last Ice Age glaciers roughly 12,000 years ago, the land that would become Lithuania was slowly transformed from frozen tundra to a landscape rich in forests, rivers, and lakes. The first humans arrived in this newly accessible territory as Mesolithic hunter-gatherers, adapting to the changing environment with remarkable resilience. Archaeological evidence points to a series of distinct prehistoric cultures that inhabited the area, each leaving behind traces in tools, pottery, burial sites, and settlement remains. One of the earliest known is the Kunda culture, named after the Kunda River in northern Estonia but whose influence stretched across the Baltic region, including Lithuania. The people of the Kunda culture lived primarily as hunter-fisher-gatherers, exploiting the rich resources of the forests and waterways. Their tools were crafted from bone, antler, and flint, shaped with care to serve their daily needs. As time passed, the Mesolithic era gave way to the Neolithic period, marked by the gradual adoption of agriculture and the rise of settled communities. This shift was slow and uneven in Lithuania, where the dense forests and abundant wild game allowed hunting and gathering to remain vital for many centuries. During this Neolithic transition, several important cultures emerged. The Narva culture, named after a site in Estonia, spread into Lithuania, recognized for its distinctive pottery decorated with shell impressions and intricate patterns. Alongside it, the comb ceramic culture, known for its characteristic comb-like decorations on pottery, became widespread across the eastern Baltic region. These cultures reflect a complex interplay of traditions, trade, and migration, as early Lithuanians adapted to their environment and interacted with neighboring peoples. Burial customs from these times reveal rich spiritual beliefs. Many graves were accompanied by offerings of pottery, tools, and ornaments, indicating an early sense of an afterlife or reverence for the dead. The presence of stone and wooden grave markers, sometimes arranged in circles or aligned with celestial bodies, hints at early forms of shamanism and animism, religious systems that saw spirits inhabiting natural features like trees, rivers, and stones. Around 3000 BC, the arrival of the Corded Ware culture brought significant changes. These people, named for the cord-like impressions on their pottery, introduced new technologies, social structures, and possibly Indo-European language roots to the region. Archaeologists associate the Corded Ware culture with the spread of pastoralism and early metalworking. Their presence marks a turning point in the prehistoric Baltic world, as societies grew more complex and interconnected. Despite these influences, the ancestors of the Lithuanians retained distinct linguistic and cultural identities. The Baltic languages, including Lithuanian and Latvian, are part of the larger Indo-European family but remain unique in their preservation of archaic features. Lithuanian, in particular, is renowned among linguists for its closeness to the original Proto-Indo-European tongue, offering valuable insights into ancient languages and cultures. Throughout the Bronze Age, from roughly 1500 to 500 BC, Lithuania's peoples developed new forms of metalworking, crafting tools, weapons, and ornaments from bronze. Settlements became larger and more permanent, often situated on river terraces or near lakes. Hillforts, fortified settlements built on elevated ground, began to appear, serving as centers of trade, defense, and social organization. These hillforts, such as those found in Kernave and other archaeological sites, offer a window into early Lithuanian society. They were hubs of economic activity, where artisans, farmers, and warriors lived and worked. Trade networks extended far beyond the Baltic, linking Lithuania with Central Europe, Scandinavia, and the Eurasian steppe. Amber, known as the gold of the North, was a valuable commodity exchanged along the Baltic coast, connecting local peoples with distant cultures. The Iron Age, beginning around 500 BC, brought further advancements. Iron tools and weapons became widespread, enhancing agricultural productivity and military capabilities. The social fabric grew more hierarchical, with tribal leaders consolidating power over territories. By the late Iron Age, the Baltic tribes had developed into distinct groups, including the Lithuanians, Latvians, and Old Prussians. These tribes shared many cultural traits but were also fiercely independent, inhabiting a landscape dominated by dense forests and rugged terrain that often hindered large-scale conquest. Their pagan religion centered on the worship of nature deities, sacred groves, and ancestors. The pantheon included gods associated with the sun, thunder, fertility, and the underworld. Rituals and festivals marked the changing seasons, reflecting the agricultural calendar and the cycles of life and death. The early history of Lithuania is thus a tale of survival and adaptation in a challenging environment. It is a history written not only in stone and metal but in the living traditions and languages that persist to this day. The peoples of prehistoric Lithuania laid the foundation for a nation deeply connected to its land, a land that would endure countless trials and emerge with a unique identity. As the centuries unfolded, Lithuania would move toward the formation of a medieval state, eventually rising to become one of Europe's great powers. But before that chapter could be written, the echoes of ancient forests, the footsteps of hunter-gatherers, and the songs of early tribes continued to resonate through the Baltic air, reminding all who listen of the deep roots from which Lithuania grew.